Welcome. Welcome, Julie.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Geiger.
Here.
Masson.
Here.
Foreman.
Here.
Ruton. Here. Wolf.
Here.
Whistler. Here. French.
Here.
Reading of the minutes and financial report. Approved council meeting minutes dated September 10th, 2018.
Second.
Second, please. Any discussion? No discussion, vote, please.
Geiger.
Yes.
Masson.
Yes.
Foreman.
Yes.
Ruton. Yes. Wolf.
Yes.
Whistler.
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Approved treasurer's report dated September 20th, 2018. Motion, please.
I move that we approve the treasurer's report dated September 20th, 2018.
Second, please.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? No discussion, vote, please.
Geiger.
Yes.
Masson.
Yes.
Foreman.
Yes.
Ruton. No. Wolf.
No.
Whistler.
No.
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-3.
Elections and appointments, no elections and appointments. Reports of special and standing committees in the following order. Planning Commission, BCA.
Yeah, I'd like to report on 2 things. We had a really productive,
Would you say who you are and your place?
Karen Cook, then chairperson of the Planning and Zoning Commission in BCA.
Thank you.
Our last meeting was very productive. We had the land in Maple Bay. I know I've been giving you several updates on that. So I have been working with the builders on that. We have a meeting scheduled on Friday afternoon to work with their engineers and do some workarounds. I've also been in contact with the Licking Township because part of this project will ultimately affect them in the water rights way. And Dr. Mazzone specifically in the safety area. So if you can be available Monday, that would be great, but I will share with you the safety issues in another meeting, but there's some fire and safety issues in relationship to where they want to cut their water that may in fact cut off some of our residents. So everybody's willing to work together on that. It's just figuring that out. The other thing is that we set 2 committees. There'll be subcommittees of the Planning and Zoning Commission. One will be for subdivision regs, and the other is for our zoning book. We split the Planning Commission into 2 groups of 3. So everyone in the Planning Commission will be working on them. I will be kind of a roamer, so to speak, not a specific member of either one. We have people from the community involved with this, professionals that Barry McAnally has agreed. As for Peggy, Todd Willis is willing to participate. I've been playing tag with him right now. We have a couple of community members. So I think we have a good mix of Planning Commission who is familiar with the rules and regs and understand what that is, and then community input professionals. So we're working on getting all those communications out and putting together some regular time frames for them to meet. So I think that'll put us on a good path to move forward into some of our areas of more concern. Doug Stewart will be participating in the Planning and Zoning group. Any questions?
Do you still need some help, Secretary of Health?
We'll continue to need help. This last meeting that I set up Monday, I did get a little bit of help from Val, but I was making all the telephone calls, and that should probably be an administrative position as well as I've gotten calls from 2 builders that will be doing projects here in the near future that will require help as we start to look at to manage that.
Any questions? Thank you.
Mr. President, since
Yes.
one point, we skipped, maybe your intention was to do so, number 4, new business, unfinished business. Was that intended to move? or-
Someone said there was none. Do you
I'm sorry.
want new business? Sure, if you want to handle it, do it now.
Council President, I would have unfinished business if, or let me just ask you when you want to deal with this. As mayor, I did veto your resolution 04 and 05. When would you like to discuss that on the agenda?
Can we do it now? How about April the 8th? April the 8th, right before council meeting?
April the 8th?
No, sorry, October 8th. I'm looking at it in April.
I think what is required, from what I understand, I believe it's required that council review the order, or the resolutions were vetoed and decide whether they want to vote on those.
Can we do it now then?
You can do it now, or you can do it under your resolution.
Why don't we just
They're in your council. I did put the vetoes in your council packet as well.
You can put them on the table now.
Could I address, Council President,
Sure.
can I please address the council about these resolutions and my reasons for vetoing?
Well, can you put it in writing, please, because we have a lot of things on the agenda tonight?
Ma'am, this is very important because, you passed resolutions, 2 resolutions that according to the legal opinion, which I think you all got an email this afternoon from our legal advisor. He says that both resolutions are in direct conflict with the charter, so in order for me to function as mayor and, the legal counsel to function, we have a matter here that needs to be cleared up pretty quickly. If you want to overrule my veto, it would take 3/4 of a vote of council, which would be 6 members as per their charter. But I would like permission at this time just to address my reasoning for and the legal opinion. If you could refer to Hayes Law Offices, the letter dated Monday, September 24th, the second half. May I proceed, Council President?
Yes, 3 minutes.
Thank you so much. I'm not going to deal with the first couple paragraphs. Let's just get right to what he says about these. He says, this is from Dan Hayes, I want to address resolutions 2018-04 and 2018-05. Both resolutions are in direct conflict with the charter of the Village of Buckeye Lake. As discussed repeatedly with the Chief Hansey and the Officer Verbatim Matters, the Employee Handbook violates the charter in a number of respects. The process of disciplining police and/or fire employees is clearly set out in the charter. Council did not have the authority to change this process by the passage of Employee Handbook. Consequently, the discipline process set out in the Employee Handbook cannot be followed when applied to police and fire personnel. Further, the charter gives the mayor exclusive authority to deal with certain personnel matters. Resolution 2018-05 provides a different process which strips the mayor of this exclusive authority and transfers at least some of the power granted to the mayor within the charter to the legislative branch. The only proper way to do this would be through a charter amendment. Next paragraph, this apparent lack of appreciation for the charter's separation of powers is also reflected in Resolution 2018-04. Under the charter, the legal advisor is a member of the executive branch. While council must approve of the mayor's appointment of a legal advisor, once appointed, the legal advisor represents the elected officials within the village in the official capacities. Consequently, the legal advisor represents the mayor as the executive of the village and represents each council member as a member of the legislative body. Those are not the same roles. The first inclination I had that there was a misunderstanding in this regard, was an email from Council President Swizzler on August 8th directing me, quote, "a copy of council members to have each and every time that you give the mayor or other village employees an opinion." They wanted a copy of it. My response to President Swizzler was, in part, and this is from the attorney, there are certainly times when it makes perfect sense for council to be included in communications between the law director and administration, but there are other times that could be detrimental. Many communities struggle how to handle the legislative/executive branch interaction with legal counsel. Different communities handle this issue differently. I think it would be advisable for you, the mayor, perhaps the chair of the most appropriate committee, and myself to sit down and discuss the best means of communicating legal advice. This is the advice he responded back to the council president.
Thank you, Mayor.
Despite this
We
offer,
will do that.
could I just, there's one sentence more.
Okay.
Despite this offer, and although Ms. Twizzler provided a general response to my email on August 13th, no meeting was ever scheduled. The next time the issue was brought to my attention was the unanimous passage of Resolution 2018. It's for this legal opinion, this reason, that you have a copy of the resolution that you passed. I signed it on the second page, and I was directed by the law director to include veto because of direct conflict with the charter. So you now have an opportunity to uphold that by overriding my veto with a vote, or you can vote otherwise.
Thank you, appreciate it. I think we should put the resolution on the table again, please. And I'd like a motion and a second, and then a vote.
What are we tabling? Want a motion
We're-
to table?
No, we just have to put it on the table again and re-vote it.
You have to remove it, right now it is a passed resolution. If you would, that the mayor has vetoed, you have the option to either uphold, if you do nothing this evening, it will uphold the veto. If you choose to want to take action against this, there would need to be a motion, a second, and a vote to determine whether you had enough votes to override her veto. Okay?
Okay.
And 6 votes would override her veto. Anything less than that, it would be upheld.
Okay, I have a question.
I guess we'll go for a
Yes,
vote.
ma'am.
Just a question. With 7 votes the last time, that, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I am, if it's super majority, then,
Right, but she vetoed it.
oh,
So
okay,
you
I
have the
see.
chance,
I
you have the chance for it to come back to you one last time.
Okay, that is, thank you, ma'am.
So,
Is there a motion
Is there a
or a
motion?
second to override the veto?
Which one?
You
You
take
have
a
two
first,
here.
you're going to go with Resolution 2018-4 first, if you wish to take action.
I make a motion, we adopt Resolution 2018-04.
It would be a motion to override the veto.
Okay, motion to override the veto, sorry.
I need a second, please.
I'll second. Discussion?
Discussion? Yeah.
Members of council got advice from another attorney knowledgeable in city law that resolutions passed by council were essentially addendums to charter. Do you recall? You got that advice from someone?
Don't remember.
Just saying. So there's a conflict. One legal opinion says one thing, and the other legal opinion says another thing. So, and neither legal opinion is ever here, you know.
Well, we're here.
So we're left kind of in the blind.
You have an anonymous legal opinion that...
It's not anonymous, we know who it is.
Well, who is it?
You don't know who it is, but we know who it is.
Please,
You know.
let's vote.
So we can vote to
Vote to overturn the veto.
and that's what's
And that's
out
what's on the
right now.
table now.
So a yes
If
vote
you overturn
overturns
the veto, and
Correct.
Dan Hayes is right, it's an exercise in futility. because the legislation still doesn't hold. That's what Dan Hayes' letter is saying. It could be unanimous. Council doesn't have that power, that's what he's saying. Huh?
Don't understand what that means.
Well, just because we vote on it,
Did you read
Dan
it?
Hayes said,
I understand the principle of what we're doing here, but what Dr. Soane said.
well,
As
it's
far as
very
I think
what
it
we're
does
gonna
send a
do part of
message.
that,
right.
What I have learned, and when I took my oath of office, it was uphold the Constitution of the United States, uphold the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and uphold the charter and rules and regs of the village. And if we're going against charter, I have an issue with that. And I don't like that I got this letter in the afternoon at some point, happened to read my mail.
Just got it
A little
down.
late, and I did get a chance to read it. That's sort of what I've been waiting for, is a legal opinion about this.
And what I'm telling you is there's a conflicting legal opinion out there that was paid for by private funds. And it changes, it's just the opposite opinion. So I'm just saying that that's what's out there. But if you go by Dan Hayes' letter, then a vote now is an exercise in futility. Maybe it's better to table it until you get the other legal opinion confirmed in writing, and then the council would have better guidelines on
That makes sense.
what better action, would be.
That makes sense to me. Let's table it and get it sort of.
Councilor Wolf, do you want to take
May
your...
I ask a question, Valerie, is there a time limit on when the veto needs to be acted upon?
I don't know, I would have to go back out and read the charter, I'm
It
not a
seems
legal
like there's a
expert.
10-day or something in there.
I'm not a legal expert, I would need to go
Let me
read
check
that.
with the rules committee.
No, I know it's in the, it would be in the charter. It's in the charter.
It took them out of the spot.
If it's tabled, it's not where we...
We have to move to table.
That would be my recommendation.
I move to table.
I'll
second that.
It's already vetoed, I don't
I
think
think
you
it's a
can,
dead,
you can't,
you're tabling something that's not an
there's
official
no need to table
piece
something.
of legislation.
So we just won't do anything.
Or not table, but she can withdraw her motion because we don't have enough information to act on.
I believe Councilor Wolf and Councilor Rutan, did you already withdraw your motion?
Not yet.
Okay.
So can we, like Bob said,
I'm-
get another legal opinion?
I'm
I
not
don't know,
legal
that's
expert.
what
I'm not
We
legal.
should recontact that opinion and ask that it be put in writing and definitive form rather than phone call conversation.
I'm not an attorney, so I can't answer that
You
question.
can go ahead and do that.
Well, I'll withdraw my motion, but I think we need to table it till we find out. Like Bob says, there's evidently two opinions.
The other opinion agrees with
I
us.
agree with Dr. Matson. I mean, first thing, none of us are attorneys, there's no one here representing us to ask those questions, and
Well, this is always the problem. This is the judicial system, is two attorneys. I do a lot of expert witness work, and there's always two attorneys in the room, and that's why you need a judge to decide. So right now, we have one attorney who put his opinion in writing, we should get the other, and then who knows where it'll go. It may end up going to a judge to decide. But right now, us repassing a piece of
Doesn't make
legislation
sense.
won't do any good.
Right.
Okay.
There's nothing to table at this point because the legislation was passed and then vetoed by the mayor. And if you withdrew your motion, pending the need to get a written legal opinion. So there's really nothing to get tabled at this point. Because there's nothing sitting on it.
Veto still staying in effect then,
The veto is still staying in effect at this moment, yeah.
because there's no action.
There's no override, there's no override at this point, so it stands as is.
So you withdraw your motion?
Well, how does everybody else feel?
I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
What?
Withdraw.
Just withdraw it, and then we'll get some more advice, and then do it.
And then we can
Revisit
revisit
it
it.
on the next unfinished.
Everyone in agreement?
a time limit on this one?
That makes
We'll find it
sense.
out. We need to research the time limit as recommended, because I just have a recall that there is a time limit related to a veto. There is a time limit in this.
So you're talking about the 10-day.
I think there is a
Council,
10-day.
if you want me to cite the charter for you, it says that the...
It's been withdrawn, so I don't think.
It's all right.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. Okay, we're down to,
Actually, if there is a time limit, it should start now from when council's notified of the veto. You know, because I just got notified of the veto 5 minutes ago.
me too.
You know, so in medical law, you know, the litigation,
yeah.
the statute of limitations doesn't start until the plaintiff is notified that there's been a problem with the case.
So it starts now.
So in my opinion, if there is a timeline, it should start as of 5 minutes ago.
Right.
Thank you.
Read your charter.
What else serves our email?
No, we
So,
should have gone
can I
there.
clarify, the veto is in effect because it was presented for veto within the 10-day requirement, so the veto is in effect.
Yeah.
Correct.
So we decide to
But the
overturn it.
issue has been tabled for further discussion pending.
There's no
petition.
tabling it because we haven't done it.
Okay,
So it's
so it just stops, right? Very
And like Bob said, we can revisit it, you know, and get other legal opinions.
Okay, thank you. You were back up on, let's go.
Zoning, there is a zoning report and a code enforcement report in your packet.
We have that. Finance,
All right. Going to finance, we have 3 ordinances here. We discussed them at 6 o'clock. Ordinance number 28.
oh,
Zoning, did you go by zoning?
yeah, but
Oh,
we had,
I thought it
you
was
said
just
we
a
had in
report.
our packet, we have your
We have to
report.
return to the agenda.
Meeting of the month.
I'm sorry?
We need to return to the agenda.
We have returned already to the
Okay,
agenda.
I missed that. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Doug, they said that you had, we have a written report from
I
you.
have a written report. I usually give a verbal report the second meeting of every month.
Would you like to?
Yes.
You're more than welcome. Thank you. Sorry.
Just wanted to let council know that I'm continuing to issue permits for houses, decks, driveways, paving. Most of the time, I'm finding people are already doing this stuff without coming in and getting a permit. That's a big problem. I think that we'll probably have to address that at some point. Like I said in the past, I think that if the people do it the right way, they shouldn't have to pay the same amount that the people were trying to get by without doing a permit. I feel it should be a double fee if you're not coming in. That's how other communities do it, and I think there ought to be a penalty for not doing your zoning in a, you know,
We don't have a penalty now.
there is no penalty.
I think there needs to be a penalty.
Right. The other issue that I'm getting a lot of complaints about, the village or the junk cars, flat tires, busted out windows, no hoods, engines missing, sitting around on all the property. The neighbors are complaining about it. We have a huge problem with it. I've talked to the chief, the police chief, our police chief about this. I've talked to the Hebron police chief. I've met with the Linda Nicodemus, the zoning officer in Hebron, and talked to her about what processes they're going through to get rid of these vehicles. We can legally do it. We're going to set up a procedure. I'm going to work with our chief and come up with a plan that we can go in. We may not be able to do all 100 vehicles at once, but we can start maybe in one area, not single anybody out, and just start taking them out, towing them, go through the process. It takes a little bit of time, but we go through all the legal notices, make sure they know, get the certified letter, all that, and then we're gonna start towing.
Where do we tell them to, what happens?
Well, there's been talk about possibly putting them in an impound lot here. Personally, I don't feel that we should do that. I think that we should do like Hebron does, and hire an outside towing agency and work through them, because just the sheer amount of vehicles and the amount of paperwork and everything else that you'd be doing, you'd have to have a police officer doing cars full-time. So I just don't think it's...
So consequently, if a person has a car towed, and they want that car back to sell it for junk or whatever, they have to pay the...
Yeah,
or the towing company.
Right, they have to go to the towing company.
Transaction here.
It wouldn't be here at all. It would take us out of the equation, and we wouldn't have all that paperwork and everything else to deal with.
Right.
I think it'd just be a sensible way to approach that and start getting...
Doug, you have a question?
The International Property Code has a section in there for people to, if they don't feel they're in, they
An
want
appeals
to
process.
debate their
It's an appeals
issues.
process, and
Right.
we'll go
It
through
goes
that.
to an appeal committee. At this time, I'm unaware that the village has an appeal committee that, should they have an issue with their car being towed or a property code issue, if they want to appeal that, it would go to nobody this time. We need to have an appeals people
Process.
so that these people have due process.
That's part of the process, and that's what I'm putting in place, so that we have, and we follow the same procedure with every individual. And they will have and it'll be a timed period for that appeal.
Do you have a committee or something to work
A
on that?
committee would have to be set up so that if somebody has an appeal, they can take that to the committee, and they go, yes, we withhold,
You guys,
that or not.
you guys can pick whoever you want to see the appeals, that's fine with me. But, we're setting up the process, and part of it will be a timed, appeal. They only have so much time after they get their, it'll probably be their second notice, and then they'll have an appeal process, and if they don't do it in that time, then it escalates, so.
Doug, how can you get the information out about the permit so that people know about it? Could you use the village website?
That's a good question, and I talked to the zoning officer in Hebron about that. We do need to use our website. We should probably put, something in the shopper, maybe a note on the water bill, which we have the capability of putting a short little sentence on the water bill or something, to let people know that these things have been neglected in the past. I was asked before, have we ever enforced this stuff in the past? I don't know what was done in the past because I wasn't here, but as long as I'm going to be the zoning officer, I'm going to try to follow it to the letter of the book, whatever it says.
I can tell you in the past, what we've done is on the spring and fall cleanup notice that is both on the posting boards right now and also in the newspaper right now. We also remind folks they're not allowed open burning, and we also remind them that they have to have a zoning permit for any work that they're doing on their property. We've also posted that in the past. It's not posted on the website right now, but we've also posted that in the past on the water bills.
Also, the other thing will be the houses that need tore down. I've tried to be nice and talk to people and send them a notice and let them know, hey, you have a car that's a problem, or your house needs tore down. And I've got a lot of kickback from some people over not wanting to move their vehicles and that. I tried a nice approach, and we're going to have something in process it's going to, I tried nice and it's not working, so.
Thanks, Doug.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Public safety?
No report.
Public service,
Can we skip over finance?
no, he said it.
No, I can do
Oh, I thought
it.
you did.
No, he did not.
No, you started, sorry.
No, he wasn't.
Okay, we do finance first. Go ahead.
We met at 6 o'clock today. We discussed 3 ordinances. Ordinance number 2018-33. That has to do with funding our legal and accounting, $5,000. And the committee recommended that that be passed. We discussed another ordinance that had to do with tax collection fees, 2018-34 for $6,000, and recommended that to be passed. And then we also recommended 2018-31 to be passed. That basically funds some payroll, and 2018-33 was at $20,000, and we reduced that to $5,000. Our treasurer said we can get our bills, those bills paid for a couple months, and then we're going to take a look and see at some additional appropriations. There's another finance meeting, which will be Wednesday the 3rd at 6 o'clock. And then there was also a discussion that we would have on October 8th, the 2019 Village of Buckeye Lake budget to begin to take a look at it.
Do you want to post for that meeting as well at this time?
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you, Valerie.
Okay. Rules, please. Oh, public, let's go to, public service first.
We have a meeting on October 1st. I will be getting the committee, the proposal from AEP, so that you can take a look at it. I think both of you know that AEP had the lower rate. I have not heard back from them in regards to what you asked about Doug. She's not responded back. So I did send an email requesting that that be put in a contract so that we know and we can take a look and kind of compare at the next meeting on October 1st. And then any updates that Toby has in regards to the projects that we've got going on. So I'll try to have that contract to you by the end of the week, so that we can make a decision and then make a recommendation to council on the 8th.
It's a standing posting for 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Yeah. John? Rules.
Rules. The Rules Committee met prior to this meeting, and I'm going to ask for a floor vote of council at the recommendation. This is not legislative in nature, so therefore it doesn't require a resolution or ordinance. Everyone's had, the committee, as well as council members, have had an opportunity to read the updated version with Valerie was very helpful in providing italics to compare and contrast new to old and make it readable. The committee met 15 minutes prior to this meeting. The committee voted to recommend this to full council, and if that occurs, and this is rules 1 through 24. On your old rules book, that was 1 through 23, but we did some reorganization to make it for clarity. It's all in here. So what I'm going to do is ask for a council vote to accept the 1 through 24 revised rules.
Second.
Any
Who was the
further
second,
discussion?
Thank you, sir.
Can I call for a vote?
Yes, because we discussed it,
You want to vote?
Yes,
Call
please.
for a vote, please.
Geiger,
Yes.
Masson,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Ruton,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Switzler,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. I will go ahead and get those changes
And the
made
next
official for you.
Rules Committee meeting, for those who would like to attend, is October 1st at 7 p.m. And we will pick up with rule, however you, whatever nomenclature you use, with that 24 or 23 from that point on. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good job.
A lot of work. Community development, Dr. Corbin.
The Buckeye Lake 2030 group had one of their community meetings, I think this past weekend, or the weekend before last. And so they just gave an update on where things were headed. I'm not sure if
Board meeting.
there's a board meeting on Wednesday from the group there. And so they're revamping their website to try to make things more clear, and they're encouraging people in the community to, if they have questions about development or about what's going on, to go to their Facebook page and ask questions. We've got there people that will respond to it and help try to keep people up to date. The other thing is, if we want to try to encourage, the development around here, if you can like the page, or if you can share the articles that are being put out there with other people, that'll kind of help expand the scope so that more people are informed about what's going on with Buckeye Lake 2030.
Thank you. Yeah. Personnel?
No report.
Okay.
You skipped, public, or public safety.
No, Dr. McDonald said we didn't have to.
Oh, I apologize.
I said it quiet.
Report of village officials. Police chief. Well, on the new rules, they will be moved to the end of the meeting, towards the end. The new rules are in place tonight. Chief. Or
Just catch up to date. Thank you for having me
would you
here.
like to take them?
Ma'am.
Thank you.
Former Officer Haas has received all of his personal property back from the police department. The operating system for the law enforcement officer's toolkit, which contains all the report databases and records, were found to have been deleted from all computer systems that contained records from 2009 to 2014. The computerized record reporting operating system that contained all the reports from 94 to 2008 are corrupt. We've been able to recover some of them, but they're fragmented information. The database issues, there's not valid searchable fields for property between the years of 1994 and 2014. If I have a piece of property, I literally have to hand search for a record with it. But per se, if there was a gun that had serial number, there's no way I can find out the report that went with that firearm. Because of the prior and proper computerized reporting procedures, information that was entered into the current reporting search system is all put into non-searchable fields. Again, I'm running into the same issues as to where I can't find X to match a report. So what I've been instructed to do was do a administrative flush. For every piece of property I have back there, I have to have a detailed inventory. If it doesn't contain a victim or a suspect, then hopefully they'll relinquish it, or it'll be up for destruction, because they have no way of finding the owners to some properties. The impound lot vehicles inventory has been completed. I'm in phase 2 of that progress. I'm trying to locate the banking companies that hold liens on some of the vehicles to get them to come and either settle up on the impound fee and take custody of the vehicle, or relinquish the title. The second phase of that is I have to locate the operators or the owners of the other vehicles, find out the dispositions in the court cases as to whether or not the vehicle needs to be returned to them, or if they want to forfeit it over to us for the title, so I can start cleaning out the impound lot. Inventory of all the sexual assault and abuse kits have been completed. The sexual assault and abuse kits that were located that had not been submitted as required by legislation for DNA collection have been submitted to the Bureau of Criminal Identification and Investigation. Inventory of all the counterfeit monies has been completed, pending submission to U.S. Secret Service. There was a large sum of counterfeits that have never been submitted, so that's all ready to go.
In the process of locating owners of property that can be returned. If it has a name on it and there's no criminal case involved with it, my intent is to return it to the rightful owner. There is multitude of property back there where I have a name, it's just a matter of locating the owner and saying, hey, come pick up your property. Wallets, purses, watches, everything that is back there, I'm trying to get cleared out. The video that was posted on our Facebook page on the attempted theft of the Ring doorbell, it had 19,557 views, and we have identified the female that was involved in that. We've obtained 5 computers from the city of Whitehall, which I'm very grateful. They will be put over for use in the newly remodeled area. I've contacted numerous police agencies for surplus equipment that can be obtained without cost. That is flashlights, traffic wheels, anything and everything that we could use that they can give to us as surplus for them. I'm trying to obtain that way. I've created standardized and up-to-date documents for the police department use, completed monthly validations of entries into the law enforcement automated data systems. Once a month, we receive a list of stuff that we have entered into these databases as stolen or missing or whatever. That means I have to contact each victim and say, hey, have you heard from your insurance company? Are they covering the loss of your property? And just verify that those items still can be entered into the system, that the relative just didn't take it by mistake and they found it since. Returned warrants to Licking County Municipal Court that had been recalled but never pulled from the agency records. I successfully completed the new chief's training at Ohio Police Officers Training Academy. That was one of the hardest courses I've ever taken. I got a 94% overall on that course. New shields and uniforms have been ordered. We've applied for a grant that covers 75% of the cost for new bulletproof vests. Our overall cost for the village is estimated to be $340 for 2 brand new vests.
Great.
Good.
So what they're going to do is they will give us a reimbursement check. We'll sign it over to the person that we purchased the vest from, and then he'll invoice us the remaining balance, which should be about $340.
Great.
Mobile data terminals, the computers that we use in our car, they're out of compliance. We're not permitted by law to access any law enforcement database through those computers. It was operating off of Windows Vista. So, with that being said, everybody, just by somebody's response, it's not supported, it's not secure, so I've contacted, and again, I've got 2 MPTs from Whitehall that are the same models that we have, but they have the operating system of 7 on it. So we've able to transfer the data programs onto the one, so we at least have one in compliance. The other one, the memory wasn't big enough in it, but I've also reached out to several other departments and asked for their hand-me-down computers until we can get something that's in compliance. That's essentially everything that I've been doing for about a month.
And thank you. I heard she also caught some thieves. Something got, and I think that was terrific for the people to know that.
The storage units that had been being broken into, Officer Ritter and myself, we spent find out 30 hours of surveillance on the units. It wasn't 15 minutes after the power went out, right during the Ohio State game, we caught somebody coming in with the intention to break into the units. He's currently incarcerated. We've identified the other 3 people involved, and one of them is also in jail for unrelated charges, but hopefully Licking County and us can work together on the case and get charges on all of them.
Good. Good. He has a question.
Sir?
You've done a lot of research, clerical work, good job, I want to say that. Going into 2019,
Yes, sir.
so you can be out on the street or stuff, do you need a part-time clerk, or tell me how, so it seems like you got a lot going on there in the office.
I know. I have our application completed. It's going to be posted on the village website now for employment through the police department. As far as the clerk, the way the state regulations are on who has access to the printed materials in the office, it contains social security numbers, databases, anything that is obtained and kept and retained from that. I don't have a problem with having help, but they're going to have to go through the same process of watching the security videos, getting fingerprinted through FBI, BCI, and a personnel file kept on them as well. I don't have a problem with that, but I am treading water and I'm above it now. So I'm doing good. but I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Thanks,
let us
Steve.
know.
But I've got the application out there, and as soon as I get more feet on the street, I should be able to help get some of this other stuff done. And there's a couple people here in the audience that have volunteered assistance and doing, like, the inventories of property that I can get disposed of. That'll free up a lot of time on my part, and it's not relevant to a case. They're not going to be privileged to information. They just volunteer to come in and write down serial numbers so it can be donated, destroyed, or otherwise.
Okay, thanks, Chief.
Questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Fire Chief?
Certainly will be a hard act to follow, but thank you, Steve. I believe you all have a copy of the written report. The only thing that I would ask is for a couple minutes of your time at the Finance Committee meeting to talk about future purchases. I met with a group of folks at the firehouse last week, and we have a very rough draft of a budget that I would like to present to Finance Committee and Council.
Absolutely.
And the other item is, at the October 8th meeting, I will be presenting an agenda, an agenda of employees, so that council has an idea. I don't need any action on it, but I certainly want to bring council up to speed on who is employed and what their roles are in the fire department.
Okay.
Did you want to
We
mention
have
about?
information on that
Before
fire
you go?
truck tonight.
I do not have that this evening. I was asked to put that on the October 8th meeting, but I would present it to Finance Committee first on the 3rd.
That's good. Thanks, Chief. Good.
Street report is in your packet.
Thank you. Water Department.
In your packet.
Thank you. Legal counsel. Mayor's in the package.
I would like to just, Council President, thank you for the mayor's report. I do have a written report. I want to make sure that each council person reads paragraph 6. It's a lengthy, complicated paragraph regarding the OPEC situation, which you talked about, which we hired special counsel for the health insurance. It's really a complicated situation. So that will answer, Tom, some of the questions you had at your earlier finance meeting. I just want to give a big shout out to Chief Mason and Chief Wardlow. I don't think we could have a better man or woman in charge of both those departments. They're doing a fantastic job. Also, thanks to our new safety officer at the fire department, Doug Sanderson. He doesn't get paid one penny. I understand he worked a 36-hour straight shift or something down at the fire department the other day covering some vacant shift. So, and also a big shout out and how grateful we are to the city of Whitehall for the computers they've given us and the assistance they've given us. Also, one more shout out would be to Al Segna, who did some minor, real finite, detailed carpentry work for us in his shop and over at the police department. And so I just appreciate the time, the council president, to give me that opportunity to thank those folks, and thank you very much.
Oh, you need the thank you from all of us too. Thank you very much. It is appreciated. Council President, I'd like to thank all the hard work that people do here at the village and all my council people for the hard work and the time they put into the committee meetings. An amazing amount of time went into developing and amending the rules, and that's why we're able to wrap it up so fast now, because they've put in countless hours. So thank you. We're done at petitions, and now I need an approval to read the ordinance 2018-31, please.
I move for reading of ordinance number 2018-31.
And need a second?
Second.
Thank you. Call for vote, please.
Geiger,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Ruton,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Whistler,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Serious. Amending, 2018-31, amending ordinance 2018-18, permanent appropriation ordinance and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion to suspend the rules, please?
I move to suspend the rules.
A second, please.
I'll second.
You have to have discussion. Vote, please.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hassan,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Ruton,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Whistler,
Yes,
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0 for motion to adopt.
and motion to adopt, please.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. We vote. Discussion, please. If no discussion, let's vote, please.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hassan,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Ruton,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Whistler,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. I need approval to read 2018-33, please.
So moved.
Second, please.
I'll second it.
Vote, please.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hassan,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Ruton,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Whistler,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Motion to adopt?
No, you have to suspend the rules first.
Suspend
I
the
move
rules.
to suspend the rules.
A second, please.
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. Vote, please.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hassan,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Ruton,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Whistler,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Motion to adopt, please.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? No discussion. Vote, please.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hassan,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Ruton,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Whistler,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
I need permission to read 2018-34.
I move.
I want a second, please.
Second.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Now you have to vote first.
Vote, please.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hassan,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Ruton,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Whistler,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
I move that we suspend the rules.
She needs to read first.
You're so cooperative, thank you.
You need to read for
I
ordinance.
will. 2018-34, amending ordinance 2018-18, permanent appropriations ordinance and declaring an emergency.
Okay, now I can move.
Thank you,
I'll second it.
thank you.
No, we have to vote
Just
first.
vote, please. Vote, please.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hassan,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Ruton,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Whistler,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt?
A second, please.
Second.
Yes, please.
Discussion, please. No discussion, let's vote.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hassan,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Ruton,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Whistler,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. resolutions at this time. So we're down to citizens' comments, please. Yeah. We're going to be limiting,
Green, 264 Park Street.
we're going to be limiting, all citizens' comments to 3 minutes,
3
please.
minutes,
Thank you.
I would just like to ask the council to please let us know what you would consider proper behavior during a public meeting. Some of us saw a tape going around on Facebook that showed the president of council and the finance chairman sharing a Coke, and then the president of council slipping a small bottle of something with a twist-off cap to the chairman of finance. He then dumped the contents into his Coke. The exchange was notably undercover, like slide 10, actually. What are we to believe? This video has not been discussed by council during this meeting. Do you think no one had noticed? We would like an explanation with some appropriate visuals, please. Some people asked me if it was liquor that was passed. At least to me and others, it appeared that way. Most jobs require that people not have alcoholic beverages during working hours. Please respond.
Absolutely. Would you like to taste this? Because this is exactly what it was. It's glycerine, honey, and some cheese.
And I'll add to that, I was sitting here in this room and overheard the whole discussion between the two of them. I know who put that out there. I think it's very low. It shows a lack of moral ethics.
Could you talk to the other members and tell them what is expected as far as behavior?
What is your question, please?
What is your question? There's nothing that happened.
Yes,
Sure,
Dr.
go ahead.
I saw Kitty have a cough when the construction was in full bloom, and I prescribed that for during the spring.
And the reason I put it for Tom that
You know,
night,
it
he
doesn't
had
matter
it.
to me.
Would you,
What I'm
can
saying
you
is
ask
the
for an
perception.
explanation, lady, and I think you need to get one.
Perception.
It doesn't
It's
matter.
perception? Give me a break.
This is perception.
Let me tell you something.
Now we have to live by someone's perception.
When you assume things, you have a habit of making a horse's rear end out of yourself. And I
Yeah,
think
well,
assuming that
Hey, you have your 3 minutes. Would anyone else like to come up, please?
Is it legal for you to share your prescription with them?
You're welcome to, it's only, it really works. It's glycerine and honey and tea.
So it is.
So it's available. And
So
you
your
can taste it.
response is you didn't do it, but you did not describe properly.
Do you want to taste my water tonight?
Give me a break.
You want to take my coffee?
Excuse me, we're in the middle of a meeting.
I would not
Yes.
show
We're
that in
done
my
with your-
file.
We're done with you.
Point of order and move forward with.
Order.
We have a
Casey,
citizen who
please.
wants to comment.
Thank you.
Casey Clark, 241 Lakeview Drive. On September 11th, I sent an email to Peggy Wells, and I've never received a response, so I'd like to make it a matter of public record, please. The email stated, "I built a new home and moved to the Village of Buckeye Lake in January of 2017. Very optimistic about the future of Buckeye Lake. I was asked if I would be interested in serving on the Planning Commission and was excited to be part of the village's growth and to meet friends in my new environment. When I was appointed vice chair, other planning commissioners resigned. I was taken back. I didn't understand their motivation. Later I realized it was politically motivated. In the past, I have chosen to ignore many of the personal rumors traced back to you, the current mayor, Peggy Wells, and to move on and serve the residents of the village. But after last night's actions, which were September 10th of this year, I will no longer do that. Last night after the village council meeting, you, the current mayor, Valerie Hands, and 3 members of the planning commission were going to meet to discuss a very important matter regarding the development of the landings of Maple Bay. During the village council meeting, you were visibly upset over matters voted on during the council meeting, matters that had nothing to do with the planning commission. When the village council meeting was adjourned and we were headed to the village offices for our meeting, you left council chambers, entered the village offices, and slammed the inner door in our faces. You stated you would not obstruct development of the landings of Maple Bay. and that you want to create a positive experience for developers without delay. This was yet another example of you not keeping your word. First and foremost, I am a resident and a taxpayer of this community. I'm appalled that elected officials would be so out of control they would slam the door in the face of a resident. I had nothing to do with the meeting you were so upset by. Your lack of control and behavior is unacceptable, will not be ignored, and for this action I expect an apology. And I believe you also owe an apology to the others that were trying to get into the village offices then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Charlie Hayden, 57 Lighthouse Lane. About a week ago, I made a public records request to 4 public entities. I received a phone call and my request within less than a week from 3 of those. I did not receive a phone call or my request from the Village of Buckeye Lake. I think that when people make public records requests, they need to be answered on time and fully. And if you can't produce, then you need to call the person. I heard during the treasurer's, the finance committee meeting tonight that the council has spent all this money on attorney fees. Well, you know, what about all that money that was spent on the hearing for Jimmy Hanley? I think it probably was upwards of around $30,000. That's a lot of money. The video, I think that is probably one of the lowest things I have ever seen out of a public official. I really can't believe that somebody would put that, as I understand, I haven't seen it, but I understand it's on YouTube. And I also understand that nobody ever asked Kitty or Tom what was in the bottle. Is that right?
No, we didn't hear anything about it.
No one asked.
So, you make those accusations without even talking with the people involved. That is absolutely terrible and unforgivable. That's it, thanks.
Thank you, Shirley.
I don't often do this because I try to keep it very straight and try to keep things not personal. But tonight I'm going to be personal. One is, I do believe Peggy owes several of us apologies for being rude to us. 2, I will share my bottle that Kitty gave me 6 months ago for my mother that has her same little concoction in it that she carries around so that people don't choke and cough. I think it's despicable that nobody asked Kitty nor Tom any information about this bottle, including our solicitor, who felt it necessary to send a letter and identify that something should be said. I think that we should give each one of you the respect that you deserve for the job that you do, and the volunteers that work for this village, volunteers, and I understand the police had volunteers helping them do work, and they should all be respected. This shouldn't be like a spitting war, or this kind of stuff that shows up on videos, or we call the newspaper to show up so that we can report this in the Advocate. It's not good business.
Thank you, Karen. Anyone else? Council members, comments?
I received an email from Bonnie Mansfield this afternoon asking me to read the spring citizens' comments. How do you want me to proceed with this?
Why didn't we see it before now?
I have it in my stack for citizens' comments. She asked me to read it during citizens' comments.
It wasn't on the agenda.
Okay, I told her I didn't know whether I would be able to or not. I had it in my packet because I didn't know whether I would be able to read it or not.
Our mailbox.
Okay, I will do that, thank you.
Little dishes. Council members' comments, please. Arletta?
I think it's very, very low that we have the situation that was brought up by Ms. Perrine. I was in this room and overheard the whole conversation between Kitty and Tom.
It was on tape.
Yeah. I think it's very, very low that village officials are using these cameras for this type of, and there's no other way to put it, a smear campaign. That's not what these, Mary Ann, this is my turn, Mary Ann, this is my turn to talk. This is my turn to talk. These cameras were not put up here for this type of a smear campaign. And that's what it is.
Perception. You can see
This is- You're out of order, please.
And me personally,
I'm really
You need to
upset
stop.
about this.
I-
I've worked
You're not
in the
removed.
public for
She
my
needs to
whole
be removed,
life.
please.
I've never seen such a thing as that activity on that tape.
I'm asking that you leave this council chamber.
She needs to be removed if she opens her mouth again, please.
Okay, I will voluntarily free myself.
Arletta?
These cameras were here for a certain purpose. They're being used for something other than what they're intended for. Me personally, I think they need to be taken down. That's my opinion, if this is what they're going to be continued to be used for.
What is the purpose for them? Maybe we ought to ask.
It's to help, I mean, we can use them to make sure that we've got things correct for Valerie. You know, I understand that or committee meetings are being taped.
Valerie doesn't use this.
Okay, that's fine. But if they're going to be used for this type of a purpose, then they need to be taken down.
John?
I want to appreciate maintaining the 3-minute limit. I appreciate the effort of the Rules Committee and those who attended, and we still have a long ways to go, but I think some of the rules will help soothe some of the atmosphere. And regarding some of the complaints tonight, there was due diligence exercise on the part of some of us, and a decision was made that there wasn't any reason to carry it further than just a review. So it wasn't, we ignored the problem.
Thank you, John.
Reviewed it. The council reviewed the problem because there was certain members, and we agreed that evidence wasn't there to assume anything bad. So it didn't go any further, and it should have stopped right there where it stopped. It should have stopped right there. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Masson?
Everything can be used for a good purpose or a bad purpose, including cameras, and it depends on the person's intent.
Right.
Unfortunately, there was bad intent, and that's unfortunate. Charlene thought the posting the video was the lowest thing. Did you say that, Charlene? It was the lowest thing you ever saw?
Yeah.
It's pretty low, but I think the lowest thing was exposing a councilwoman's personal finances for no reason, when the finances of someone bidding on a project that should have exposed their finances had a special deal with the finance committee to not show their finances. Instead, they chose to embarrass a councilwoman. That's pretty low, too. See what I mean? So, on another note, I heard, as a public safety person, that an ambulance or a fire truck responded to a call, and when they went to refuel, the credit card had been terminated without telling them.
Right.
And that appeared to be a safety issue, and I was just wondering what happened.
We asked that question to the finance, during our finance meeting. we didn't get a clear answer as to why it was declined. We did get an answer that that bill is paid. We wondered why it hadn't been maybe paid earlier. It is paid. Rochelle told us.
Oh, is that what happened? It was refused due to non-payment?
She's right there. I didn't know
We're
she
still
was
waiting
still
to hear
here.
back. I think Rochelle had contacted them, right, and we're still waiting to find out why.
It was
part
not
didn't work.
refused because of payment, is that
Yeah.
correct?
The bottom line was that they tried to refuel the vehicle and their card was rejected. And I'm saying that is putting not only those people at risk, it's putting the rest of the community at risk. And it also has the possibility of negatively impacting the good credit rating of this village. And we need to look into it. Thank you.
We want to make sure that those are paid, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Dr. Masson, Dr. Sloan, thank you.
Nothing at this time.
Bill?
I'd like to once again thank John for all of his hard work with the rules, and we got part of it passed tonight, which is great. So congratulations on that.
Yeah.
And I would also like to say that there was a lot of due diligence, maybe behind the scenes, with regards to that incident. I talked to both members, I viewed the tape, and there wasn't anything conclusive as far as I was concerned.
I'd like to thank the Rules Committee who spent hours and hours and hours on what we got accomplished. John, you did a great job, and Valerie for her help on the rules. Also, I want to reiterate that the village on October 8th does want to see a 2019 agenda. I have to agree with Dr. Masson. When I heard about the fuel card situation, I was furious. I really didn't understand how that would happen. I hope that never happens again. I want to make sure that anybody who has property code or zoning code issues, if they want to have it appealed, we have a proper appeal process so they have due process. There is a fall cleanup that's on our website that I want everyone to be aware about. Also, I'd like to thank our safety fire officer for the time that you've put into all volunteer time, and that's a lot of dedication to volunteer time like that. And I understand you did a couple not a couple, but you've done a lot of squad runs to help out the village, so thank you. The cameras issues, I would like to see them over to the police department. I think our police chief understands the intent. The intent was security of the public, not to monitor whether somebody got an aspirin or somebody got honey or somebody gets cough drops or anything like that. That's just crazy. If we need them out of here, or it needs to be monitored by the police for security purposes. The fire department, I am anxious to see if we can get a new fire truck for this community. I think that's a major contribution to this. And I would also like to thank two people who came tonight who had a lot of input, and that was our former finance chair, Barry. Thanks for your input and your concern for the village finances. I have a lot of respect for what you did for many years. You know it's not easy to be in finance chair. Thank you, Mayor, for your input on that too. We've got a lot of great people who are sitting out here volunteering. They got good intentions, and I want to thank everybody for that.
And I'd like to thank all of you for being here. I think it's important that you come and you hear what's going on. And I can really want to show appreciation for John and Tom for amending the rules. And I can assure you that those rules are going to be implemented in a fair, honest way. But there's one rule, like they say, no good deed goes unpunished. There's one rule that we never used before, but all of a sudden we're stuck with it, and that is when I have to ask permission to read an an ordinance or an amendment. I think it's a waste of time and energy. So would you please look at that?
That's where we're picking up the very next meeting.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, I do want to add that I hope that our personnel, whether they're police or fire, that we continue to review and make sure that our rules are being followed and so forth. I think we've got some people out here that have done a great job in the fire department, and I respect what they've done.
Yeah. And I want to thank Whitehall and some of our friends at Whitehall for the support they give us as a poor village. And remember, because the census tracts showed us as a poor village with lack of job creation, we were able to get this village named an opportunity zone, which means that will benefit everybody eventually. So thank you. I'm moving to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'm going to adjourn.
Second, please. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.